Okay, well, I guess welcome to Cooking with the Dissident Part 2, or number 2, or the sequel, or whatever. Anyway, I want to talk about what I would do to fix the world by becoming President of the United States. Because it's possible. Alright? Really, entirely possible. Okay. One man could do this. Is it actually possible to happen? No fucking way. I mean, they would never let me become President of the United States. They didn't want me to even try to run for governor of California. Governor-wolf.livejournal.com. I'll put a link in the description here if you can. Read that. It's brilliant. I just read it again yesterday. I can't believe I wrote that shit. Anyway, so if I became President of the United States, I would solve the world's problems the following way. The deep state is the bureaucracy of the federal government. Parts of it, mixed and matched here and there. It's just people within the federal government who believe rumors and talk to each other and do things, you know, through illicit channels or informal channels or whatever, and you know, just happens to be something that creates a situation where certain people who have certain tendencies, psychopaths, no empathy, and selfish assholes, can take advantage of it and take over the whole country. So I'm going to dismantle the deep state by dismantling the infrastructure in which it exists. So my first executive order would be to fire every federal employee that can be fired, that I have the authority that I would have the authority to fire. I would dismantle every federal agency I would have the authority to dismantle. The SEC especially. We'll get back to the SEC, but the FCC dissolved, the FDA dissolved, the DEA dissolved, FBI dissolved. All of those agencies that can be dissolved, ended. Everybody fired. Only things that would not be dissolved permanently would be, or yet, would be those agencies, those entities, those specific people and offices that maintain the nation's safety. And I don't mean militarily speaking. We'll get to that next. That's number 2. So, talked about getting back to something. I can't remember what I talked about getting back to. So fire all, fire all the employees, federal employees, and anyone that's still employed is on notice that they are going to be replaced. Unless they can either prove their loyalty, sign an oath, a federal oath that I came up with a while back, of loyalty to the federal government and service to the federal government, and that's it. Or they just don't have a job anymore. And oh, those poor federal employees! No, fuck those poor federal employees. They've fucked the whole world over for long enough. I'll be making noise here. So the next thing I would do is, I can't disband the military. I cannot do that. But the United States is not supposed to have a standing military. The U.S. Constitution says that the only way the United States can have a standing military is if Congress authorizes it. And they have been reauthorizing it every 2 years for the last 60 years now? I don't know. Since before World War II, or since World War II? Before World War II, I think. So that needs to change. I can't fix Congress. I can't do anything about that. But I can veto. They'll override it, but I can do something. I would be Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. military. I would order 2 things. First of all, dismantling the entire nuclear arsenal. Gone. No more. Second thing, recall all soldiers to return to the United States and order them to join with citizen militias using U.S. military infrastructure that would be handed over to civilians. So if I had the authority, I would hand over all military infrastructure, minus missiles and nuclear and anything like that, to civilians. Actually, no, everything would be handled over to civilians with the instructions that they dismantle anything that we don't need to defend the nation. So all the soldiers would be called, all the military bases abroad would be donated to the countries that we gave them, all the weapons, except small arms, would be destroyed, and all the soldiers would return. And what we would have, instead of a standing military, would be the largest citizen militia of any country in the world. So America would instantly go from being the most offensive military nation in the world to the best defended militarily defended nation in the world. And the instructions given to these militias would be that you are to ensure that the U.S. federal government retains compliance with the Constitution, which it presently does not. And to encourage Congress to do the same. I have a few ideas on how to fix Congress, but I wouldn't have the authority as the President of the United States. As President of the United States, I would have the most authority to do the most good, which would be to dismantle the federal government. I would reduce, for example, the budgetary needs of the federal government by 99%. Okay. Oh, and one of the agencies I would dismantle. I would get rid of Internal Revenue Service. I would have a hell of a job ahead of me trying to figure out how to fix funding what left of the federal government. But it would be really easy because the budget would be 1% of what it was before, if that. So I think I could raise the money pretty easily. But there's going to be a lot of significant changes, obviously. And I have thought through them. There's going to be a revolution anyway. There has to be some kind of a revolution. It might as well be a revolution where the government says, hey, we give up. You do it. So just kill the federal government. Seriously, just get rid of the federal government. Fire everybody that can be fired. Make them rehire if their jobs are necessary for the safety of the nation. The one that I couldn't get rid of immediately would be some aspects of the FAA, for example. You can't get rid of all the air traffic controllers because they work for the federal government. Actually, I think you could, because I think we should ground all aircraft. So yeah. I think we'll do that. We'll go ahead and get rid of the FAA too. We don't need. Oh, the one I wanted to get back to was the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission. Dismantling the Securities Exchange Commission means dismantling the stock market. So yes, I would instantly dismantle the stock market in every aspect of it because it doesn't need to exist. We should be doing investment in another way. It should be state regulated, not federally regulated. Okay. What we have is a federally facilitated gambling house. That's all the stock market is. It is gambling with people's lives and livelihood. So get rid of it. So I would instantly destroy the stock market. It would no longer exist. What else? Oh, no, that would be about it. Yeah, that'd be about it. So, what's ruined America is, well, actually, let's talk about what's ruined America. What's ruined America is the dilution of the vote away from stakeholders. Stockholders are anything but stakeholders. Stakeholders were in the original Constitution, the original form of the Constitution, which you can still read. It says that the people who are entitled to run for office and vote are white Christian male landowners. The states have the final say, but that's mentioned in the Constitution. It's mentioned in the Constitution because that's who's counted in the census. So the federal census and federal elections, originally in the Constitution, only white Christian male landowners could vote. Why white male Christian landowners? Because the nation was founded by white Christian male landowners, people who went out and claimed land. So they didn't buy it; they claimed it under the philosophy that if you work land, you can own it. So it's the most justified of all of the ideas of the philosophies that justify ownership of land. Ideally, you cannot own land because you didn't create it. So unless you've created land, you can't own it. You can't own that which you do not create. So these people came over here. They staked their claim on the land. They worked the land and made it work for other people. So they farmed it, they ranched it, and they, however you call raising trees. So they improved the land, made it work for them. So they made it so that people could build houses and eat. So those were the people who took care of and thus were America. Okay, America was founded not as a democracy, but as a representative republic, which means a collection of smaller democracies. Okay, and democracies can only be of equals. So these stakeholders were all providing for the nation. They all deserve to be able to be the ones that were in charge of it, because they were the ones providing. It's their nation. If they want to have guests over and whatever on their ranch and provide for other people, that's fine. They had control. Other people could come to the nation, but they couldn't be citizens, they couldn't vote, and they couldn't run for office. They could be guests, subject to the rules and regulations of those who ran the country. That's what I think I should go back to. But as president, I couldn't do that. So That's what America was. That's what America is. And I'm going to finish cooking here. Enjoy yourselves.